So if I told you that you're wasting 80% of your life, what would you do differently? If I told you that 80% of your life is almost trash compared to the other 20%, what would you do differently? The obvious thing is to take the 20% and maximize it, but so many of us don't. So many of us just keep doing the same things that we did yesterday. 80 to 90% of the thoughts that we think are the same ones we thought yesterday, even though clearly it is not working. 80 to 90% of the things that we do today are the same things that we did yesterday, and then tomorrow and the next day and next week, and so we're getting the same results. That's the definition of insanity, is doing the same thing and expecting different results. I'm going to give you one example of how this works in business, and then I'm going to talk about how to apply this in your life. So I'm consulting for a local business, and they're telling me all their expansion plans. They're going to build this out. They're going to put this here and that there, and they're going to make it more lively. The problem is what they are expanding is the 80%, because this is just how we think. We are locked into certain frameworks, and oftentimes this is the industry standard. They are talking about an industry standard model that is not currently working for them. Now, it doesn't mean it won't work over time, but I'm like, hey, let's talk about the 20%, because I know that this particular thing that you're doing that is 2 hours a day and it's at lunchtime is providing the same thing that what you're getting in this 8 to 10 hours that feels like it's dragging by because you're not getting enough traction. Now, we can work on the traction, but first, let's take what's already working and let's maximize that and do more of that. So you've got a couple existing contracts, right? You've got 2.5 days a week filled with these lunch things. So let's talk about how we get more of that. And this gets into what you can think about in terms of how you're going to maximize your thing. You look at this example, you think about how it applies in your context. The first thing is understanding, where did I find this clientele? Did somebody introduce me to them? And where can I find more of them? Because usually if you find one, you can find another. If you did it once, then you know that you can do it again. If you see somebody else do it, you know that it is possible. And so it's taking that, first of all, the belief system, the possibility, and making that to be like, this needs to be the standard. Because if I can do this, it will create so much more freedom, both financially and time and otherwise, for me to be able to do the other things that I want to do, even if that's supporting and really boosting this other thing that I want to get going. So it's saying, hey, where did I find this person? It's really studying the 20%. Spend your time auditing your life. Write down what you're doing. Slow down, take account. Oftentimes we don't even think about how we're spending our time. Slow down, take account of what you're doing in your life. If you need to map down hour by hour or 15-minute increments of what you're doing, how you're spending your time, and then map that over to how that's impacting you. And you can do that financially. You can do that from an energy standpoint. Is it giving energy? Is it taking energy? Are there people that you're spending your time with that are taking your energy? Are you spending 80% of your time with people that are taking from you? Now, it's always good to give, but in the best scenario, what you are giving is also giving you energy. Because whether it's like Christmas and birthdays where you're giving something that really satisfies people, when you are your authentic self and you are giving in an authentic way that really aligns with your identity, in a way that like your joy and your skill set and a meaningful service overlap and you're in your optimal niche, that actually boosts you up. And so you want to do more of that. That's usually part of where you find your 20%. So you study this, you analyze it, and you say, how do I find another Lauren? How do I find another Jamie to connect me with these people? And usually it's starting by talking to Lauren and say, hey, Lauren, I'm looking to do this. I'm looking to fill this other days in the week. Do you know people in other buildings or so on? Or do you have another day here? And then it's from there, it's figuring out, how do you find another Lauren? If she's not going to connect you, then how do you find another person that's like that? It's looking in your network. It's starting to talk about it with people. It's figuring out what spaces, what other places exist where you need to be and you need to show up, because this 20%, you better spend a lot of time trying to figure out how to do more of that, because it's going to be worth it. Once you really have that stabilized and once your anchor is there and your base is there, and that's going to generate both income as well as energy, now you're going to have more space to be able to spend over here. And you might be able to delegate that. That might be part of what needs to happen. But without securing your base and putting your oxygen mask on first, like they tell you on the plane, if you do not secure your oxygen mask, and part of that is your income, part of that is your energy. If you do not secure that, you're not going to be able to do the other things that you want to do, including helping other people. If you start to just do the 80%, It is like putting oxygen masks on other people. You're going to die. You're going to lose the energy. You're going to lose the air. What are the things in your life that are the 80%? What's the 20%? And how do you multiply and maximize that? That is the 80-20 rule. It changes restaurants. It changes businesses. It changes lives. It changes relationships. It changes your energy. I would love to hear in the comments, what's your 80? What's your 20? What are you working on to change it? What questions do you have? Please like this video if it added value to you. And if you know somebody who needs to hear this or who would value this content, please share it with them. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time.